Hey, look, breakfast. Disgusting. Train the muscles, not the joints. So welcome back to an Gallant Bodybuilding. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about bigger and leaner. And bigger is not always leaner, and leaner is not always bigger. And how people always mix this up. They always mess it up. You know, they look at somebody on YouTube and they see a lean dude and they fall for the optical illusion. They say that guy's huge just because he has some lines in his pecs. But the bottom line is that he'd probably get his ass handed to him on stage if he went to a national level or a pro level competition. Like honestly, it would look like he was transparent on stage. So the bottom line is that if somebody is leaner, they will have the appearance of looking bigger in video or in pictures, and especially in this Photoshop age and stuff like that. That's why sometimes you can't really trust Instagram. You have to kind of go to video more so. But at the same time, there's this obsession with being lean, which I understand. It looks better. But if you try to achieve being lean all the time, like super shredded, you might be screwing your gains up a little bit. This is what you should eat if you're bulking up. I did this 3-year experiment where I was staying leaner, and I noticed that I was getting bigger and pumped for a period of time. But then at some point I started to almost like not have enough food, which is why I'm kind of not bulking right now, but I'm not really paying attention to limiting my carb intake or my fats as much as I was before. So I'm making sure I have protein with every meal, but I'm not really limiting myself, right? Now I noticed that I have better pumps when I'm in the gym right now. And yeah, I look fluffier. I'm not as lean on camera, but I'm actually getting bigger in some way. So the thing is that as a natural bodybuilder, don't get too obsessed with looking in contest shape all the time. That's just not really an attainable thing. When I was competing, I wasn't trying to be in contest shape all year round, and it's just not attainable. Unless you naturally have a super fast metabolism where you're already in shape no matter what you're eating. That's a different sort of thing. But if you're a person that doesn't naturally stay in super 5% body fat shape, then if you're trying to do this with your diet all the time, you're going to be limiting your gains. I'm positive about that. Okay, that said, I'm gonna have something to eat. I'm gonna go to a Vietnamese food restaurant right now and get some chicken and vermicelli. So protein and some carbs, and the chicken is a little bit fattier. It's not like super lean. They use chicken legs and stuff, but if I do that once a day or something, that's not a big deal. Then I have chicken and rice at home, which is chicken breast or tuna and rice or whatever. So yeah, here we go. Here we go, have some Vietnamese food. If you notice that you hit a plateau, like, you know, okay, this is one thing you can do. Stay lean as long as you want. Keep trying to put on lean muscle mass. That's good. Like, I mean, super lean, like 6-7% if you're obsessed with looking good on Instagram or some shit. Or looking good for the bar or whatever it is you're doing. Maybe you're streaking through a football game. I don't know what you're doing in your spare time. But if this is what you want to do that. But once you start noticing that you're plateauing, where you're feeling flat, you're not necessarily making any gains, your strength is going down, you know, that's a good indicator. Or if you're getting injured, like, or if your joints are drying up, like you're getting inflammation and stuff all the time, this is a good time for you to consider eating a little bit more carbs and fats, and the healthy ones. Try to go with the omega-3s for fats. Try to go with good lower glycemic index carbs. Like, you don't have to go crazy with bad food, but go with nourishing food. Johnson. That was good. What a shot. That was some good shots right there. All right, next shot. Underwater posing. In case your bodybuilding show is underneath the ocean. So if you're stuck on just nothing but yams and broccoli all the time or whatever, like, maybe you need a pasta meal or two. Now, again, this isn't a license to eat whatever you want all the time, because if you eat too much crap, that's also going to work against you. You're just going to put on a bunch of body fat. You want to still stick to the principle of putting protein in every meal and some fiber in every meal to help buffer that blood sugar boost. But at the same time, you want to make sure you have enough food, right? Enough food in order to gain muscle. Okay, I'm going to just sit here in the shade. Now I can see there's so much confusion around this. Like, the average Joe Schmo comes on my channel sometimes and says, oh, you were bigger before, or you're leaner before, or like they have all these weird things. They say, oh, you had way more muscle mass at this time or whatever. Meanwhile, I was at about 5% body fat higher than I was when I was doing the videos where I was leaner. So the bottom line is that you have to take into consideration that you might look bigger in a shirt or bigger with your arms hanging out of your sleeves when you're fatter, but you will not look as big when your shirt's off, and then the overall context of body fat and everything is really shown, right? So sometimes there's an optical illusion going on, and you have to basically understand that it doesn't really matter whether you're in contest shape all the time or not, and you don't have to be obsessed with this. All you have to do is make sure that you're feeling good. Just make sure you're not putting on massive amounts of fat. You can see just by pinching, right? You could tell how much fat you're putting on. And if you're putting on a lot of extra fat, then you just have to back off on those carbs, back off on those fats a little bit, and replace them with protein or green vegetables. That's really what you do. It's that simple. It's really not that complicated. It's just that people like to overcomplicate the thing, and then they're confused about what big really is. You know, what is big? Big is muscle mass. I mean, you know, obviously if you're at 50% body fat, you can have 20-inch arms, but it doesn't mean they're really quality arms. You know, I know one guy, super nice guy, but I don't know whether he had like a genetic predisposition to super high estrogen levels or not, but he had more man boobs and body fat than muscle mass, and then he would pose like he was in shape or something, like a bodybuilder, right? And that's fine, but the bottom line is that he was not in a place where he was really putting on muscle, you know. So the whole point of bodybuilding is to put on muscle. It's not necessarily to put on copious amounts of fat. I mean, that's called sumo. That's a sumo wrestler. So if you want to be a sumo wrestler, that's a different thing. So yeah, so you know, before you really judge whether somebody's huge or not from a bodybuilding context, you really have to take into context like what body fat level are they at, and are they really having any muscle mass at all, or are they just kind of puffy? You know, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, right? I mean, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was huge, but I wouldn't call him lean. Either way, you don't have to stay shredded all the time to be a bodybuilder by any means. Just stay, you know, lean enough, like around 10 to 15% in that area. That's really the ideal range I've seen. Because when I've seen guys go to 20%, 25% body fat, like get crazy out of control, by the time they dieted down for a show, they pretty much lost all their gains, because their gains before weren't really, I mean, it wasn't really muscle mass, right? So you want to have an excess of calories or an excess amount of food, so that way your body feels like it can put on muscle mass, but you don't want to overdo it. And I've seen also being super shredded at some points is conducive also to putting on muscle mass, because there is something to do with testosterone and estrogen levels and all that kind of stuff too. So if you put on too much fat, you will notice that there'll be a point to where your bodybuilding progress isn't any better. It's almost like a point of diminishing return. So at 10% body fat, you might be getting great gains in the gym, feeling good pumps and feeling like your strength's going up and stuff on a regular basis, or you're getting more reps on your exercises. And then you go to 11 or 12% and nothing extra happens from that. You just look shittier, right? So you want to kind of find that happy medium in there. So I hope this helps you out in your training. Thanks a lot for watching. And if you need me only, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the patient supporters, and mountain. Take care for now.